Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to my video. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Etna Gres, and I'm from Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, majoring in English Education Study Program. I'm from Class A1, Regular A of Tanjungpura University, Pontianak. So I make this video to fulfill my final exam of speaking for transactional subject by lecturer Dr. Iksanuddin. The topic that I would like to talk is about speaking for transactional function. Do you know what is speaking for transactional function? Transaction is an interaction that focuses on getting something done rather than maintaining social interaction. In communicative language teaching, transactions are generally referred to as function and include such areas as request, order, offer, and suggestion. So what is the example of speaking for transactional function? Realize or not, we already use speaking for transactional function in our daily life. Like if we go to the restaurant, we order the food. It is a speaking for transactional function because it is an interaction between two people to get something done. Not only order food from the restaurant, but when you order taxi, when you check in into the hotel, when you change money at the bank, when you want to getting a haircut, when you want to buy something on the store, and when you want to borrow a book in the library, it's also activity of speaking for transactional function that we apply in our daily life. For a clear example of speaking for transactional function, I will give you an example how to order a taxi by phone. Hello, this is Nana from EG Taxi. How can I help you? Hello, yes, I would like to take a taxi, please. Alright, may I know whom I'm speaking with? It's Gres. Okay, Miss Gres, may I know where your location is? I am in Gang Turi, Jalan Jurusan Mempawah. What city is it? Sungai Pinyu. Okay, can you tell me your destination? I want to go to the Supadio Airport at Pontianak. What time do you leave? I don't know. The schedule said that the plane will take off at 5 p.m. So just arrange a time when I can get the plane on time. Alright, we will look for a taxi and arrange your schedule. Okay, thank you. Is there any number or contact that we can call? No, this one only. Okay, please make sure you always check the phone. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to know? I think that's all. Okay, please wait for our call around 3 p.m. Thank you for using our service. Okay, thank you. Alright, so that is an example of speaking for transactional subject. Ordering a taxi is just one of billion examples of speaking for transactional subject. Of course, you can find another example of speaking for transactional subject in our daily life from any resources. I just give one of the example. Then, in the speaking for transactional function, you can use a gambit to help you speak. I have made about practicing gambits in my previous video, but I will retell the gambits that will help you in speaking for transactional function. So basically, there are 10 gambits that could help you to speak. First is starting conversation. In starting conversation, we just can use by casual or formal according to our opponent. And I will give you an example how to start conversation casually. For starting the conversation casually, we can say, "Hello, do you have a time right now? I would like to talk about our project because I'm still confused in some part." That is the example for starting the conversation. Then the second gambit. After we already greeting our friend, we already start the conversation, we can ask the opinion from our partner. Example for asking the opinion, you can state your statement first. For the example, I think this online learning is really struggling, especially for those who doesn't have enough internet signal, and it's really hard to feel an effective learning in this era. What do you think about it? Do you think my opinion is true? So that is the example for asking an opinion from our opponents. Then move to the third gambit. The third gambit is agreeing your partner's opinion or statement. I will give you 2 examples in agreeing opinion. You are right. It can't be denied that the deadline is too short. Yes, I totally agree with you that our project is really good for developing our skills. That is the example of agreeing partner. So move to the fourth gambit. The fourth gambit is opponent of agreeing. So this is how we disagreeing our partner opinion or our partner statement. I will give you some example. I think the red dress is pretty, but in my opinion, the white one is prettier. That is how we disagreeing our partner opinion. Move to the fifth gambit. The fifth gambit is asking for clarification. So we use this gambit in the situation when we don't really know and don't really understand what our partner said. I will give you some example. I'm sorry, could you repeat what you say just now? Excuse me, can you explain this part one more time? There is some example of asking for clarification. Then move to the sixth gambit. The sixth gambit is interrupting politely. This point refers to how we interrupt politely of our friends or our opponent's word, so our opponent didn't feel disturbed by our interrupt. And I will give you some example to interrupt politely. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I think you misunderstand with my opinion. Excuse me, could I stop you for a moment? There is some example of interrupting politely. The seventh gambit is referring to an earlier point. In this part, in the middle of our conversation with our opponent, we think we would like to ask about the earlier point what our opponent said. How to do it? So I will give you one example to referring to an earlier point. Alright, now I'd like to go back to the earlier topic you said. You said that pandemic era will never end. Why do you think like that? So that is how we refer to an earlier point. Then move to the eighth gambit. The eighth gambit is taking a conversation into a new direction. So it's like you and your partner speaking about pandemic era at first, but in the middle of the conversation you think that about the pandemic era is done, so you want to move into the new topic. So at this point, we could change our topic into the new one. And I will give you the example. Right, we had done with the makeup issue. So now let's talk about the place of the reception. So that is the example of taking a conversation into a new direction. The ninth gambit is playing for time. This means we can talk about something else with our partner or our opponent before we end the conversation. For example, wait, let me look on my note for a second. The second is 2 weeks from now, is it right? So that is the example of 9 gambit, playing for time. And the last is summarizing. On this part, we can summarize all of the points we get from our conversation with our partner or our opponent. For example of summarizing, alright, so we have discussed all the points. So our project is making a video about pandemic era education and the deadline is 2 weeks from now. That is the example of summarizing in speaking for transactional function gambits. Alright, we all meet in the end of the video. That's all of my video. I hope you little bit understand about speaking for transactional function, about how to use it in our daily life and how to use a gambit properly. That's all of my video. Thank you for paying attention and see you in the next video.